Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. Today's video is going to be Weekly Review 17. I'm just going to get straight into it because I do have quite a few things here to talk about. And I don't have any TV shows to talk about this week, so I'll just jump straight into the movies. And first up, to break up the, my James Bond marathon, because by that stage I was getting a little bit sick of it, to be perfectly honest. I love James Bond, but yeah, I was just, if you've noticed the past few weeks, that's all I've been watching, James Bond films, and I was like, you know what, I need to break this up, especially in the lead up to seeing Spectre. And I was like, right, I'm gonna alternate between, my Marvel, cinematic universe rewatch and obviously finishing up the last James Bond films I needed to watch. So that was sort of my reasoning here. It's sort of why there's a bit of a pattern going on. But anyway, to continue on with my MCU rewatch, I watched Captain America, which the first Avenger, which I've always enjoyed. I think it's actually, a great introduction movie for Captain America. It's a great period movie. I love the setting. I just love the overall feel to this film. I just sort of like, his Steve Rogers' journey to becoming Captain America, sort of like how he basically takes on, it's sort of like interesting how he sort of becomes like this, the symbol, they sort of, with all the, his movies that he showed, tours and all of that, and he basically becomes that. It's I always thought he sort of how that's like his journey to becoming, the hero that he became. I didn't explain that well at all, but hopefully you understood what I meant. But yeah, I just always thought it was just an interesting take on how someone became, superhero. And I always enjoy, I just always enjoy this film. I know some people are sort of mixed on it, but I think, as I said, I think it's a great introduction film. We also, obviously got the awesomeness that is Peggy Carter, and I'm so excited for Agent Carter Season 2. I can't wait for January. And I think she worked really, Hayley Atwell worked really well with Chris Evans in this, and it's a really great cast. I also love, Tommy Lee Jones as, what's his name? Oh, I can't think of his character's name, but I really like him. He's, his whole dry, sarcastic humour, and also because and Hugo Weaving as a villain I really liked as well. But yeah, I've mentioned, obviously, I've talked about Captain America quite a few times here, along with most of the MCU films. So basically, long story short, really enjoy this one. I'm gonna give it probably an 8.5 out of 10. Then going back to James Bond, I watched The World Is Not Enough, which I know, again, a lot of people are kind of iffy on, because I think it's what they sort of view, GoldenEye with Pierce Brothers, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, and then it's The World Is Not Enough and Die Another Day, which more or less is how I rank the films myself. But I don't know, I kind of do enjoy The World Is Not Enough. I think that's probably because of the character of Elektra. I actually find her quite a fascinating character, and I really sort of I think she's probably one of the best things about this film. It was just a very, different take, and I just I don't know, I probably like this film more than what a lot of people do, but it's it's not the greatest film, Bond film ever, but for what it is, I do enjoy it. And because one of the things that actually amuses me about this film is one of her bodyguards in this movie is actually a former Australian gladiator in the TV show Gladiators. I think, what was his character's? I think it was Vulcan, if I remember correctly, because I remember seeing a Where Are They Now? I think it was Where Are They Now special, and he was one of the people, I think, who were interviewed or something for it. And yeah, he said he did some acting, and that was one of his film roles. I always find it quite amusing, but anyway, a bit of a random segue, but yeah, so The World Is Not Enough, I'm probably going to give a 7.5 out of 10 overall. Then I rewatched the Avengers. You all know how I feel about this film. I'm just going to say I love it. 10 out of 10. Yeah. And then we get to Die Another Day, which I know, again, a lot of people are very mixed on. I can see where they're coming from, to be perfectly, honest, but I don't think it's as bad as what some people make it out to be. I mean, yeah, it's not Pierce Brosnan's best film, well, in my opinion anyway, but, which is sort of, not so much strange, but, you know, because he came in with such a high film, with GoldenEye, and then by the end of it, it's, I don't know, it was sort of interesting seeing how, the strength of his films went. I mean, I know some people, obviously we all, disagree on, the film rankings and that, but, yeah, basically, I don't think Die Another Day is as bad as what some people say, and, I mean, yes, it's my least favourite of the Pierce Brosnan era films, but I still enjoy it to some extent, and also, I really like Rosamund Pike in this film, which, it's sort of a bit strange seeing her in this. I think it was one of her earliest film roles, or it was her own. I don't know if it was her first. I think it might have been her first major film role, but I'd have to look that up. But yeah, I really liked her character in this, and yeah, it's, you know, for what the film is, it's entertaining enough. So again, I'm gonna give Die Another Day a 7.5 out of 10. Then we get to the Daniel Craig era. You know, current era of James Bond, and I watched Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. Casino Royale, basically, agree with what everyone says about this film, just how incredible it is. It's, just how much emotion, raw, how emotionally powerful this film is, and it's a very, it's sort of a different take from, you know, the, I guess, classic James Bond, but at the same time, it is James Bond. It's, I suppose, I guess the juxtaposition, I think that's the correct word to use here, where you sort of, you know, you got the new elements of the James Bond character, but also you've got your old elements, you've got the references to past Bonds, because probably one of my favourite moments in Casino Royale is with the poker game, and you know, it's sort of where they're getting drinks and the bartender's oh, it's you know, what drink do you want, and he's a vodka martini, and he goes shaken not stirred, and the look Bond just gives him, and he's do I look like I give a damn? That's the line delivery with that is just that's probably one of my favorite moments. But yeah, Casino Royale is just it's not just a great James Bond film, it's pretty much a great action film as well, and I'm gonna give it no, I think I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It's, yeah, one of my favorite James Bond films, but yeah, it's, and I'd probably rank it as my second favorite Daniel Craig Bond film, but yeah, so then we have Quantum of Solace, which again, I know a lot of people are very mixed on, and to be honest, I was kind of that way at first, but I think the more times I watch it, the more times it grows on me. For me, it's kind of like Iron Man 2. The more times you sort of like, I mean, I don't obviously go out and rewatch it every single, like, if I'm rewatching it as part of a marathon, I appreciate it more. One thing that actually strikes me is, like, I don't think I always pick up on it, is how short this film is compared to all the others. And yeah, that's just sort of really weird, because, you know, you have Casino Royale, which is, I think, like nearly 2.5 hours. And I think all the other, like, you know, Skyfall and Spectre are like 2.5 hours, but this is like an hour 45. It's not even 2 hours. It's sort of, which I don't know, you know, if they had added in extra stuff, if, you know, the film could have been a little bit better, but like more time, I guess, like some of the plot points of the film, because some of it did actually feel quite a bit rushed, because I think they were trying to go from I don't know, I don't really know how to describe it, because because as I said, you know, I don't hate Quantum of Solace. It's, yeah, my least favourite of the Daniel Craig films, but I don't think it's a bad film. But overall, I'd probably rank Quantum of Solace a 7.5 out of 10. Then I rewatched Iron Man 3, which, again, a lot of people were very mixed on, but I'm one of the people who enjoyed it, because, I don't know, I just sort of, it's sort of weird, well, not weird, but, I mean, yeah, obviously not as good as the first Iron Man film, but I think it's probably, if I were to rank the films, it goes Iron Man 3, then Iron Man 2, but yeah, but also count me as one of the people who actually liked the Mandarin twist to, like, midway towards the film. I actually did like that. I know that was very controversial, but I thought Ben Kingsley was actually really good in the role, and yeah, it's sort of like little moments like that, and because it was, you know, I think it was a great mix of, you know, action. There was, you know, a lot of emotion, actually quite a surprisingly amount of emotional depth, like, because you sort of got Tony's, like, with Tony, and you sort of have his dealing with the aftermath of the Avengers, and, you know, the impact that had on him, like, psychologically. And yeah, I actually thought that was done really well, and because, you know, you're sort of like, he's, you know, he's trying to shrug off that, you know, he's fine and everything's normal, but, you know, it's not normal. Like, he's just sort of, his personal struggle in this film, I think, was done really well. And I did actually like the level, like, the character depth, and that, but yeah, but Iron Man 3, I'm probably give an 8.5 out of 10. Just, I like this film. It's, so then I started in on, continuing on with my preparation for The Force Awakens. I started on the original trilogy, and I watched A New Hope. I can't really say, you know, what hasn't been said about this film. It's, yeah, I actually, when you sort of go back and rewatch it, you sort of think it was actually a great, I suppose, introduction to this world, like, because, you know, where it started from. So we didn't have, obviously, all that backstory. It just started with a simple explanation of what was happening, and, you know, it went from there. And I actually, you know, when you revisit it now, knowing, you know, sort of with the prequels, it's, I think I actually appreciate that sort of aspect of the film, like, and the original trilogy even more. Like, I suppose, you know, I suppose it wasn't because, you know, we were spoon-fed with every single, you know, information that was happening. Like, you know, we got enough backstory with the characters. We knew where they stood in, you know, the grand scheme of things, and, you know, we got to see their journey. And starting from A New Hope, we saw, like, you know, the character arcs, and yeah, I actually think, yeah, A New Hope is Yeah, it was a great introduction for all these, you know, characters, and and yeah, I just always liked A New Hope. It's so I don't know if it would be my second or my I can't decide between this and Return of the Jedi whether it's my second, because I normally just rank them all in one, like the original trilogy as one, because I just love the original trilogy, and you know, it's my fourth, as the original trilogy is like my fourth, I guess it counts as my fourth favourite film of all time, because I can't really separate them. But if I was ranking them individually, I would probably give A New Hope an 8.5 out of 10. But it's still really enjoyable film, and yeah, I just like it a lot. And then to finish off my, I guess the 23rd Bond, like after marathoning 23 Bond films, I finally reached Skyfall, which it's my favourite of the Daniel Craig era films. It was pretty much perfect from start to finish. I sort of, this one I really did appreciate the blend, you know, with the old, with the new. We got introduced to familiar characters, you know, like Moneypenny and Q, and it's like we had a great Bond villain, and because I loved, I can't pronounce his name, Javier Bardem, is that how you say his name? So I'm pretty sure you don't pronounce the J, but he's terrific in his role. And of course, you know, gotta say Judi Dench was fantastic, as she always is, and it was, you know, as sad as it was to see her go, because I loved her portrayal of him. She went out on a high, it was, so to speak. It's like you just sort of got because she just brought so much depth to the role of M, and you know, because I love that they expanded the role, like as compared to, you know, say the Sean Connery era or the Roger Moore era. It was I just loved her in the role, and and I do think, as much as, you know, I love Ray Fiennes, I think is his, you know, I do like him in the thing. I think it'll be extremely hard to top Judi Dench's portrayal of M, but Skyfall is just great from start to finish. It's got a great song. It's my favorite song of the Bond films. It's pretty much a perfect film for me, and I think it is actually, if I was to rank all the Bond films as one, this would probably be at the top, because if memory serves me correctly, this is the only Bond film I've given a 10 out of 10 for. It was that great. But so I love Skyfall, and that's sort of where I rank it. And then just random, like, the last two films I watched Ricki and the Flash, which I meant to see at the cinema, but I never got round to going. And because, to be honest, the main reason I wanted to see it was A, because of Meryl Streep, and B, because I love films that are to do with music, and and this one was definitely the music in this film was terrific, because I think they actually, because I know Meryl Streep did her own vocals, and I think the band all did their own vocals as well, which sort of added, and I guess I don't know if realism is the right word to it, but it felt very authentic, with the songs, and it was definitely an interesting film. Not I don't know if it was quite what I expected it to be, because I'd heard mixed things going in, but for the most part I liked it. I just don't think it'd be one that I would necessarily watch again, because I think it's fine as a, you know, watch one and you're done. I mean, Meryl Streep, she was fantastic in this, and that wasn't, you know, the issue, but I just think, you know, there's sort of some parts in it that just felt very unnecessary, and that didn't really go any, like, some, you know, they added in all this like scenes for drama, but it didn't really, there wasn't any consequence, I think. So this more so when the daughter ran into her ex and his new girlfriend slash fiance, that scene just felt very unnecessary, and yeah, there was no yeah, I felt there was actually, considering what went down in there was like no consequences. Like they didn't really play that off, and yeah, there's just a couple of moments like that could have been like really good, like well done, but yeah, and also yeah, there's just like scenes like that, and I think that's it could have actually been like, yeah, as I said, really well done, but yeah, I don't know, it just felt a bit flat for me, and but yeah, I mean, it was okay, it was an alright watch, but nothing, you know, super spectacular, which is, I mean, which is more or less what I was expecting, but yeah, I'm gonna give Ricki and the Flash a 7.5 out of 10. And then, to finish off the regular movies that I watched, I finally got around to seeing Mad Max Fury Road, and yeah, wow, this film was incredible. Just it from start to finish, it was just because I know I've sort of reviewed the previous Mad Max trilogy, which I think, having since watched this, I probably could have just gone straight to this and not, you know, missed out on anything major. But I mean, I am glad that I have seen the original Mad Max trilogy. But Fury Road was just incredible. It was like, I liked how, I suppose it's similar vein to like the previous films. Like, you know, there's a very minimal cast. Like the film itself is quite contained, but there's just so much going on, and you don't actually, like, you think for the amount of characters that are actually in this film, like, you know, the ones that have lines and things like that, and I'm not talking about, you know, all the extras, but I think we get, yeah, and I don't know, it's very, the casting was actually very interesting, but Tom Hardy as Mad Max, as much as I did enjoy Mel Gibson's portrayal, I thought Tom Hardy did a fantastic job. Charlize Theron, I think that's his name. She was great as, what's her name, Ferocia. And also Nicholas Hoult really surprised me in his role. It's yeah, because I was sort of watching it and I was like, I was trying to work out why it sounded like he sounded familiar, and then I sort of looked it up and I was like, that's why. But yeah, but he was fantastic. It was just a well-acted film. Very, yeah, again, with, you know, emotional depth. So I think that's sort of what I was saying at with the minimal setting and minimal cast, is that the character's journey, you really felt for them, like what they were going through, and, you know, as, you know, what their journeys were, and just the struggles that they were facing, and I thought that was done really well. I still love the whole desert landscape, and how, for, you know, the majority it took place just on this one patch of road, kind of, yeah, with, you know, in vain with, I think it was more in vain with the first Mad Max film, like, because you just sort of had that one stretch of road, and I think that was done really well, and yeah, it's, yeah, Fury Road did not disappoint me, because I was sort of, when I finally got around to watching, I was like, oh, but what if I don't like it as much as what everyone else does? Because yeah, 'cause this film was very hyped up, but for me, yeah, the hype was definitely worth it, and I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. And then we get to, you know, the main reason why I rewatched 23 Bond films, and that is because I finally got around to seeing Spectre. I had to wait a few days before I could see it, but I finally did, and because I went in probably with lowered expectations, because by this stage, because it's already been out, well, it's been out for like 2 weeks, I think, in the UK, and a week in the US, so, like, with the reviews that were coming in, I mean, I generally stayed away from them, but they were pretty mixed, and so I was like, okay, so don't expect it to be, you know, Skyfall level, or Casino Royale level, but, I enjoyed it. It was actually, like, really entertaining, and, yeah, for me, I didn't have an issue with the film. It was, I thought it had a great amount of, you know, action, yeah, just, you know, yeah, like action suspense. It was sort of, I think for me it gave enough that it, like, delivered enough that, you know, I was satisfied with the film. And yeah, it's like, I liked that we got to see some of the more, like, the characters who were, you know, sort of established in the previous film. You know, like, the new M. And I just also want to make a note, with Andrew Scott's character, because I sort of was watching it, and then afterwards I sort of realised, hey, that meant that, you know, M, like, Voldemort and Moriarty were facing off in the thing. That just really amused me. But I loved Q in this film. He was probably one of my favourite parts of this movie. Just he gave some of the best lines. One of my favourites was when he was telling, you know, Bond to be careful, because otherwise he'd lose his job, because he's like, you know, I have a mortgage and 2 cats to feed. I didn't picture Q for a cat person, but anyway, that just sort of amused me. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the film. It's probably, yeah, not as good as, for me, I'd probably rank it as my 3rd favourite. Like, it would go Casino Royale, no, Skyfall, Casino Royale, Spectre, then Quantum of Solace. But yeah, and I also want to make mention that I actually like the theme song. I know, again, this has been very divided among fans, but because that was the first time I'd actually listened to it, because I sort of avoided hearing it, so I was like, I want to wait until I watch the movie and, you know, experience it that way. And I think for me that paid off, because while it was, you know, it's obviously very different to, say, Skyfall, but I did enjoy it still. I wouldn't say, you know, it's not one of my, you know, top favourite, like, theme songs or anything, but, you know, I thought Sam Smith did an alright job with it. And what I did like about it, I thought how they did the intro was very well done. I sort of liked all the callbacks to the previous films. I thought that was, yeah, I thought that was done really well, so, yeah, I overall really enjoyed Spectre. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And then finally, just very randomly, I also saw the Australian production, like the tour production of Cats. You all know me, I love Andrew Lloyd Webber's musicals, and I don't know if I ever mentioned, I really love Cats, the musical, even though I do actually like Cats, but yeah, anyway, that's another discussion. But oh, I loved it. It was, because it was at the Capitol Theatre in Sydney, and yeah, it was just, yeah, I just had such a good time, which given what had gone down that morning, because when I woke up, and yeah, that was the 14th I saw that. It was, yeah, a very welcome distraction just from everything that was happening in the world, and yeah, it was just, yeah, for 2.5 hours, just, it was just, yeah, great experience, very atmospheric. The cast was very, like, just how much energy was in this show. It did surprise me a little, that's because, admittedly, I haven't heard a more recent, recent versions of the songs, but I was surprised they actually did change, not so much all of them, but there's a few songs that had, I guess, suppose more techno feel to it, because especially the Rum Tiger, I think that's the song. The Rum Tiger is a curious... Yeah, that one, or the Rum Tiger. I'm not sure what the title song is, but yeah, it's sort of very, because in the original version, he pretty much sings it he sings it the whole way through, like the title, the characters, what the song's about. But then in this one, it's sort of like the first few verses are done via the chorus of cats, and then at the end it sort of becomes like the last couple of verses are like hip hop, and he's doing all of it. It's a very different take, but I quite liked it. Yeah, it just took a bit to get used to, because the Rum Tiger, because I think he's probably one of my favourite cats in the musical. But I just want to, as a side note, because I was up in the dress circle where I was, because I was sort of on the edge of that, and like in the aisle, because I normally try to get an aisle seat if possible, because then it saves me having to climb over people trying to get to my seat and things like that. But I was watching, because I was sort of watching the stage as the overture was playing, and I didn't realise that, because I know it's quite an interactive show, like, because, you got cats that come out into the audience, but I figured that would be more for the stall people, because, I imagine it would probably be harder to get, doing it up in the dress circle. But so I was watching what was going on stage, and the next thing I know is there's this tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and then there's like one of the cats actually standing next to me, and he sort of, because he had one like those really hypnotic, like glowy eyes, and I was sort of staring up at that, and he probably, I don't know if he thought I was on something or that, but yeah, 'cause I think I jumped about half a mile in my seat when he tapped me on the shoulder, because I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, so I don't know which cat it was, because I couldn't quite tell with, because it's like the eyes were very glowy, and yeah, it's sort of I was not focused much on anything else, but that was just my random encounter with a cast member from Cats. So but yeah, it was fantastic, and also like just the whole experience, and also randomly Delta Goodrem played the role of Grisabella, so like I've actually I do enjoy her music. I just haven't like properly listened. I don't know, because I don't watch The Voice, like the Australian Voice, but so I think she was on that. I don't know if she's still on it, but yeah, but well, basically I listened to her like her album when it first came out, and yeah, I've listened to one of her more recent songs, but yeah, no, she was really good as Grisabella. I thought, because yeah, and I can now say I've seen Delta Goodrem live in not so much, well, not obviously concert, but I've seen her in something, so yeah, but I loved Cats, and I'm gonna give the whole perform in a 10 out of 10, so yay. And that is it for these reviews. Yeah, sorry that these ones probably not that exciting, because most of them are all like, they're either James Bond or they're Marvel. I'm trying to, now that I'm not, not so much I was forcing myself to do it, but I dropped so many marathons and that I wanted to stick this one out, and I'm very glad that I finally did that. I actually stuck with something and I finished it, so hopefully in the next lot of reviews there'll be a bit more variety so I don't feel like I'm repeating the same stuff, but there we go. So I'm just going to stop it here. So thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!